This week on the Presidential Diary, President Akufo-Addo swears in a new chairperson, deputies and a member of the Electoral Commission, charging them to redeem the name of the commission with the quality of their work.
Our only interest is to have an electoral commission that organizes credible, transparent elections. We do not want electoral victories handed to us by officials of the Electoral Commission. We want electoral victories handed to us by the people of Ghana.
Also in this edition, Public Procurement Authority saves the country some 1.6 billion Ghana cedis over the past 18 months as President Akufo-Addo assures the statutory institutions will continue to be empowered to carry out their mandate.
I came to renew publicly the sacred vow that I took to protect the public purse. I came also to acknowledge that this is not a battle I can wage or win alone.
We'll also bring you highlights of the 12th congregation ceremony of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, where President Akufo-Addo stressed on the importance of the media to the political, social and economic architecture of the country.
Let me encourage media owners in particular to invest continuously in building the capacity of their staff. The media has immeasurable power to build up the confidence and values of our society and its institutions, and therefore ought to be assisted in being on top of its game at all times.
Hello, I'm Jefferson Saki at the Jubilee House in Accra. The Presidential Diary is brought to you by the Communications Directorate of the Presidency, and it starts right now. Hello again and welcome to the Presidential Diary. President Nana Akufo-Addo on Wednesday the 1st of August 2018 swore into office the former Executive Director of the Institute of Economic Affairs, Mrs. Jean Mensah, as the new chairperson of the Electoral Commission. The President also inducted into office Mr. Samuel Tete and Dr. Eric Asari-Bosman as Deputy Chairpersons and Ms. Ajua Ebrifa as a member of the Commission.
The Republic of Ghana is by law established.
The Republic of Ghana has by law established.
Let me start by congratulating you all warmly on your appointment to the Electoral Commission.
Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House, President Akufo-Addo reminded the EC chairperson that she and her deputies had come to office at a time when there was considerable national anxiety about the work of the Commission. He said to erase the public's uneasiness, the Commissioner and her deputies should reassure Ghanaians by the quality of their work and to be diligent in the performance of their assigned duties.
You will recall that on Thursday, 28th June 2018, I removed from office the then chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, together with her two deputies, Mr. Amadou Sule and Mrs. Georgina Opoku-Amankwa, on grounds of stated misconduct and incompetence, as found by the committee set up by the Chief Justice, Justice Sophia Akufo, to investigate petitions leveled against them. The processes that led to their removal were in strict compliance with the Constitution of the Republic. They were initiated by employees of the Electoral Commission and by an ordinary citizen with no affiliation to government or the ruling party. This whole process, which resulted in the removal from office of the three persons, was an instance of the rule of law at work. Neither my party nor I had any hand in the proceeding. Our only interest is to have an electoral commission that organizes credible, transparent elections. We do not want electoral victories handed to us by officials of the Electoral Commission. We want electoral victories handed to us by the people of Ghana. You, Madam Chair, and your two deputies have come to office at a time when there's considerable anxiety in the nation about the work of the Commission. It is the quality of your work that will reassure the Ghanaian people that the democratic system of government that they have chosen for their governance will be properly nurtured by an electoral system that allows their voice to be plainly and loudly heard. It is no secret that I have spent much of my adult life fighting for the establishment of democracy and human rights in this country. And I have always fought for and advocated for a credible electoral process in Ghana. In emphasizing the importance and credibility of elections, it must be pointed out that the count, the collation, the declaration of results cannot and should not be more important than the sacred God-given right of a citizen casting his or her ballot.
We are humbled, Mr. President, and motivated.
The new Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Jean Mensah, expressed appreciation for the honor done her and her colleagues to serve the nation and pledged that they would discharge their duties to the best of their abilities.
Your Excellencies, the electoral process of any republic is the midwife that delivers its democracy. We are therefore aware of the huge responsibility and the weight of expectation that comes with the assumption of these high offices. But we are prepared, and by God's unfailing grace and our own exertions, we will succeed. We acknowledge the good work of our predecessors, and we will strive to build on their achievements. In doing so, we will count on the support and experiences of the staff and the institutional knowledge residing in the Commission. With God being our helper, we will work with the Parliament, the political parties, the judiciary, civil society, and the media to build an electoral commission that this nation can depend on to uphold its sovereign will and the right to choose its leaders. Mr. President, we wish to assure all Ghanaians that we will hold ourselves accountable to the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
On the same day, on August the 1st, 2018, the President also swore into office 7 new High Court judges at a brief ceremony here at the Jubilee House in Accra.
I bear true faith and allegiance.
President Akufo-Addo urged the judges of the High Court to demonstrate honesty and possess integrity and a sound knowledge of the law. Describing the High Court as the focal point for justice delivery in the country's judicial structure, the President indicated that much of the work of the judiciary begins and ends there.
It is vitally important that you, our new High Court judges, demonstrate that you are honest, possess integrity, and a sound knowledge of the law. The situation where judges prefer judgments on the basis of decisions from lower courts and cite them as law is not acceptable. And even less so when judges cite no authority at all for their rulings and give orders without reasons. You must be learned, know your case law, and ensure your decisions and judgments are properly motivated. Let me use this occasion to repeat that the dispensation of justice requires that application of the laws of the land must occur in the hallowed words of the judicial oath, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. That is, without recourse to the political, religious, or ethnic affiliations of any person the object of justice. When a citizen falls foul of the law, any citizen, high or low, that citizen must be dealt with accordingly. And the law enforcement agencies, including you, our new judges, must ensure that this is done. That is the true meaning of the concept of equality before the law.
You're watching the Presidential Diary, brought to you by the Communications Directorate at the Presidency, and here are some more engagements of the President over the past few days. The President joined auditors from across the country for the 2018 Internal Audit Conference under the theme Leadership and Good Corporate Governance, a Key to Effective Public Financial Management. The President revealed that the Public Procurement Authority reviewing contracts brought before it for approval under either sole sourcing or restrictive tendering has in the past 18 months alone saved the country some 1.6 billion Ghana cedis compared to 2016 when the authority made zero savings.
I came to this function to emphasize, for the avoidance of all doubts, that the internal auditor is one of the primary weapons in the fight against corruption. I came to reiterate that I need your help in the fight against corruption. I came to renew publicly the sacred vow that I took to protect the public purse. I came also to acknowledge that this is not a battle I can wage or win alone. There are many layers to the protection of the public purse, and internal auditors are its primary defenders. I want to say that the stringent and desperate efforts being made by my political opponents to tarnish me and members of my family with corruption will simply not wash. I did not come into public life to make money out of public service. And members of my family know fully well they have to behave and are not involved in anything untoward. I am aware that you give a dog a bad name in order to hang it, but this dog will not be hanged. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to perfect all stages of our public financial management system to enable us to maximize the use of our resources. Institutions such as the Auditor General, the Internal Audit Agency, AYOCO, and other statutory bodies will continue to be empowered to carry out their mandate so the relevant laws and policies are complied with. I know there are unresolved issues of salary disparities, conditions of service and work environment, and these are receiving the urgent attention of government so that they can be satisfactorily resolved.
In other stories, President Nana Akufo-Addo has urged journalists and media practitioners across the country to take a second look at the power they wield and the responsibility they owe society, with a view of ensuring that they do not sacrifice integrity and future of our societies for today's headlines or breaking news. According to President Akufo-Addo, media owners in particular must invest continuously in building the capacity of their staff.
To announce that today
It was here at the 12th Congregation Ceremony of the Ghana Institute of Journalism that President Akufo-Addo stressed on the importance of the media to the political, social and economic architecture of the country, and therefore highlighted his government's commitment towards the development of the infrastructural capacity of the institution. The President disclosed that an initial amount of 5 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to the Ghana Institute of Journalism in the 2018 budget, assuring the school of encouraging the GET Fund to speed up its disbursement in order to complete its infrastructural development.
It is important to stress that the media has always been a critical feature of the political, social and economic architecture of our country and continues to be so. The Ghanaian media has been very active in tackling the social ills of our country and advocating for the investment that will contribute to the sustainable development of the country. Today, as a result of the repeal of the criminal libel law on 27 July 2001, a process I had the privilege as Attorney General to lead in Parliament, the Ghanaian citizen is able to give boldly and freely his or her feedback on policies and programs of government. Civil society groups are able to interrogate fearlessly government actions and positions, compare them to global best practices, and offer views and critiques aimed at complementing the efforts of government. And the political opposition is able to raise dissent openly, canvass for alternative viewpoints, and by so doing, offer our citizens alternatives to consider on all key issues of our national discourse. No wonder Ghana is, according to Reporters Without Borders, the #1 country in Africa in the Global Press Freedom Index. However, like many other good things, the work of the media has its own associated risks and inherent challenges, especially in this age of social media. I will focus only on two of these challenges. First is the risk of deliberate misinformation campaigns by some elements in the democratic space. And second is the risk of inadvertent misinformation by media practitioners, often in their desire to be first with the news and thus get a punchy, juicy headline. As is unfolding before our very eyes on a daily basis, this deliberate misinformation campaigns, which in themselves are not new in politics and war, have now gained added currency with the proliferation of media channels. This is not only the preserve of enemy states in times of war, but has also now become a vociferous tool of political actors who aim to win public relations battles by fabricating or twisting facts and churning them out either through traditional media or new media channels as news. This is a major threat to the integrity of the news world as we have known it. It is not something to be left only to regulators to deal with. It is something that the whole world of media practitioners, including you, members of the graduating class, must resolutely confront and assist the society to identify and eliminate. We must therefore recognize the need for training, critical engagement by society with our media, self-regulation, and insistence on media ethics and journalistic standards by media houses, practitioners, and their organizations as part of the process of building a culture of high standards and professionalism in the Ghanaian media. This has largely been accepted as the means of addressing the current shortcomings and ills of our media landscape. The second risk we have to guard against is that of inadvertent misinformation that is sometimes published by mainstream media, which has also the potential to lead us all in a race to the bottom. This happens when there's a little twist of facts, often to get the best headline, or a publication of the unverified claim in the haste to be first in breaking the news. The worrying trend is that in many cases, even after the public has been misinformed and the true facts are later made known, mainstream media often chickens out of an open, honest acknowledgement that we were wrong. The choice is often to sweep it under the carpet and move on to the next big story. To guard against this second risk, which increases as media channels increase, let me encourage media owners in particular to invest continuously in building the capacity of their staff. The media has immeasurable power to build up the confidence and values of our society and its institutions, and therefore ought to be assisted in being on top of its game at all times. I call on media practitioners in the country also to take a second look at the power they wield and the responsibility they owe society, with a view to ensuring that they do not sacrifice integrity and the future of our society for today's headline or breaking news. I'm happy to announce the government is supporting GIJ in the development of its infrastructural capacity. This should help in providing space for the increased student population who in the next couple of years will be seeking admission to this school as a result of the free senior high school policy. An initial modest amount of some 5 million CDs has been allocated to GIJ in the 2018 budget. And the least I can do is to make sure that GetFund releases this money to you as soon as possible to help complete the first of many lecture hall complexes and offices here.
To members of the graduating class, President Akufo-Addo urged them to be the generation of Ghanaian media practitioners that refuses to be either victims or pawn and accept to travel down the path of genuine popular enlightenment, which represents the strongest guarantee of our national independence and sovereignty. And with the GIJ graduation, we end today's edition of the Presidential Diary, brought to you by the Communications Directorate at the Presidency. www.presidency.gov.gh is the official website of the Presidency. You can also log on to the social media platforms on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on Instagram for more updates. I'm Jefferson Saki. Many thanks for your company. See you next time.